Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Dawson. Welcome to Can You Relate, Cleveland's relationship show. This show is here for you. Whether you're in a relationship with a spouse, a child, an in-law, a coworker, or even a pet, this show is designed to answer your questions. Now today, I'm really excited. We have our segment, the Roundup segment, with our girlfriends that come on the couch, Coach Kathy's couch again, and we're going to talk about, it's the middle of January, you've gotten all your gifts from Christmas, which ones are you going to return? Are there any in the bunch that your husband or your partner gave you that you don't like, that you can't stand? How do you handle it? But first, we're going to talk to someone who is a gift to the city of Cleveland. Regina Brett's here to talk about her book, so let's get started. Life is good, but it isn't always easy. I am so honored to have Regina Brett here to talk about her book, which is God Never Blinks. I love the title. 50 Lessons for Life's Little Detours. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Kathy, thanks for having me on the show.
Tell everybody, what gave you this idea?
Well, the idea came about from a newspaper column for the Plain Dealer. I had written about the 50 lessons life taught me. And it became this internet forward. Everybody was emailing it to aunts and uncles, and it kind of went across the globe. And my editor at the time, Stuart Warner, said, you should turn that into a book. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I really thought of all the people that have inspired me and all the lessons, and I turned it into a book. And the book is now in 18 countries. So there's this universal hunger for the connection that it offers.
Well, I've read the book, and everything I've read, I can relate to that. You know, even though my life experience doesn't match yours exactly, it's how you communicate, how you handle things that really inspires me.
Well, I think it's like your show. You know, we always go through things alone and we think we're the only one. Then we find out everybody's going through these kind of things.
Exactly. But you talk about it in a way that most people don't. I mean, you're real, Regina. You know that about yourself.
I put it out there, as they say.
You put it out there, right. And it comes back to you 1,000 times fold. Yeah. So, do you have a favorite life lesson? I mean, I'm sure you have.
Oh, gosh. You know, there's so many of them that I keep going back to and using in my life. But I think my favorite is The Best Is Yet to Come. And I wrote it's number 45. And I wrote it about my relationship with my mom, who's now 80. But I didn't know her real well because we had 11 kids in the family. She was so busy just, you know, cooking dinner and doing laundry. And when she turned 75, I really got to know her. I wrote down 75 things I loved about my mom. And I gave it to her as a gift, and it made me kind of put the magnifying glass on everything she was able to do for me. And I think so many of us put the magnifying glass on what wasn't there or what you wished would have been there. Right. And if you train it on what was there, you are amazed at what comes out. And I also like The Best Is Yet to Come because if things are rough, they'll get better. And if things are good, they can still get better than what they are.
They can always get better.
Because sometimes we limit ourselves and go, wow, this is good, and we're almost afraid to dream bigger.
Right, like the shoe's going to drop.
Yeah,
When's
like,
it going to end?
You know, right, exactly. We can't have it be too good.
Right, right.
I say go for more. You know, it's like abundance.
Wait, I look at this book like a box of chocolates. You know how, who sits down and eats a whole box, right? It's just each reading is like a little truffle, and you savor it. I absolutely love it. I have to tell you, one of my favorites is the one about the most important sex organ is the brain. And you tell the whole story of you and Bruce and the evolution.
Yeah, my husband,
and it's really true.
And I've heard people say the most important, 6 inches is between this ear and this ear. Because when you think about it, you know, you're going to change. Your bodies are going to change. And sometimes we fall in love just because how someone looks. But as you age and things go by, it really is how you see each other in your heart, how you think of each other. And that's where the romance comes from, I think.
Absolutely.
It's how you perceive each other and how they feel for you.
What struck me, and I thought, this couple loves each other from the inside out. Oh, yeah. That's what I got from that.
And you have to. Yeah. I mean, after going through breast cancer, it really made me realize how much love is so much about a choice. It isn't just a feeling. Because, you know, when I was going through chemo, I didn't really feel real lovable sometimes. And you've got the bumpy edges, and everybody has them in life. You lose a job, you lose something you love. And love to me is a choice. You keep making it.
It's a decision.
It's a decision that I'm going to love you no matter what. And boy, did I feel cherished by my husband through that.
Oh.
he just kept telling me how gorgeous I looked bald. And I'm not sure I did, but you know, to hear that from somebody and to have that look in their eyes still be the same.
Well, he got that you're not just your body. You're more than your body.
You're right. Yeah. You're
right.
more than your body.
Exactly. Will you promise me something? I know I'm putting you on the spot. Will you come back?
Oh, I'd love to come back.
There's so much
I would love
to
come
talk
back.
about.
And thank you for what you do. You know, it's so important to talk about relationships. I tell people don't go to bed worrying about the global warming and about the politics in the Senate. They really are worrying about the dog and the neighbor and their kids and their spouse. All those real important things. So thank you for delving into those.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. Well, if you want to learn more about Regina Brett, you can go to your wonderful website, which is reginabrett.com, and please go out and get the book because it's fabulous.
Thank you so much, Kathy.
You're welcome. Stay tuned. We have more of Can You Relate coming up.
Up next, he gives you gifts, but not the gifts you want to get. Our team is ready to unwrap this topic in our Relationship Roundup. And later in the show, it's a medical issue that is overlooked and undertreated. Could it be affecting you? Find out.
Infrared breast imaging is a non-invasive breast scan that has no touch, pain, or radiation, and it can detect abnormalities years before a mammogram. So schedule your IRBI scan at 440-239-3438 or visit our website at tenpennyimc.com, where you can be an IRBI girl.
We have another segment of Relationship Roundup. This is where we gather our girlfriends and we sit on the couch and we dish about relationships with a different topic each week. So I want to introduce you to everyone who's here. Patrice Blakemore, a confidence coach. Welcome back.
Thank you, Kathy.
And Linda Miller, a mother of 4, grandmother of 5, married 30 years.
35.
Welcome. 35, thank you
Yes,
for the correction.
yes.
And Barbara Rose, my dear friend, mother of 2 beautiful children, married how many years?
39.
39, wow, that's amazing. Okay, here's the question. And feel free to just send us an email and tell us what you think. It's now the middle of January. We've gotten all our gifts, and it's about the time we return things. So what happens if your husband or partner gives you something you can't stand? Okay, how do you guys handle that?
I'd like to start with the fact that I am impossible to buy for.
Oh.
Or to give a gift to. I am just not a good recipient of gifts because I don't feel like I really need anything.
Okay.
But I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I realize that to give, I love to give gifts. It's much easier to give than to get a gift.
Interesting, okay. So what do you do if Bruce gives you something and you go,
Well, the last time he did that, I thought he was joking. And I started to laugh, and then I saw his face, and I went, honey, that is the most unusual present you have ever gotten me. I love it. In the meantime, I'm wondering, where's the gift card underneath it?
But nice recovery, nice recovery. How about you guys? Did you ever have this experience?
You know, I just pretend like you like it, then take it back when they're not looking.
Oh, okay. Well, that's one way of doing it.
Well, you know, seriously, you have to appreciate the effort. Doesn't mean you have to like the gift. And you also have to understand that some people's love languages, as the book talks about,
Right.
it's not giving gifts. Like yours is giving gifts, but it may be something different. So you have to appreciate your spouse for who they are.
Okay, so you're looking beyond the gift.
Yeah, sometimes you have to.
You have to. How about you, Linda?
Okay, well, I can remember when my kids were small, my husband brought home this big box wrapped in red foil with a big silver bow.
Ooh.
I was so excited. I kept shaking it for 2 weeks before Christmas, and on Christmas morning I opened it, and there was a woodworker that worked at his office, and it was a potato bin. And back in the day, it was like country decorating was real popular, and he was excited
That's
like
what
a
every
child.
girl needs.
And I just smiled and I said, okay. And from now on, I give him the store, the color, the size, the fragrance. But I ended up putting my children's artwork in it, so it didn't go to waste.
That was
I
my
stored
question.
their
Do you
artwork.
use the potato bin?
No, yeah, that was a
Okay,
long time
great.
ago.
Not
but he's
anymore.
gotten there.
I
No.
think you have to keep in mind the love and the thought that went
right. He
behind the
was
gift,
so
no matter
excited.
what it is.
Because don't you
Yeah.
think that inside every person, man or woman who gives a gift, there's a little kid that's like, oh,
Exactly.
I got this, I got it. You know, and to me, it's the story behind the gift. I'll never forget this one story about a woman who said, my husband got me the top of a frying pan for Christmas. Whoop-de-doo, right? But it turns out he went to 7 different stores till he got the right fit, and it was the story that was the real gift. So
I'll have to remember that. Thanks.
Yeah. And you said something, Barbara, that I really think is true. Watch his face.
Yes.
And if his face goes, then you know we need to be thinking beyond the gift.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your perspective. Now, if you have a perspective about this particular topic, we want to hear from you. So go ahead and email us at canyourelatetv.com or info@canyourelatetv.com. And we can also talk to you on Facebook or Twitter and tell us if you want to be on this couch. You might be one of the girlfriends. So stay tuned because we've got Rate Your Relationship coming up next.
Maybe you and your mate don't have a meeting of the minds about money. If the two of you fight over finances, is it because one of you has a habit of maxing out the credit card? One of you pays all the bills and the other has no clue about finances. One of you stashes away so much money that the other feels resentful for not getting to spend it. You're both clueless about money. Time to cash in on Kathy's counsel for managing money in your marriage.
If you answered yes to 3 out of the 4 questions, chances are you and your mate are going to want to schedule a financial meeting. You know, this is so important. I tell my clients this all the time, that at a minimum, you want to schedule a financial meeting once a quarter. This is the time where you bring everything out, your assets, your debts, your budget, your investments. Even if one person does the money in the family, it's important that he or she keep the other person in the loop. So once a quarter, have a financial meeting and things will go much smoother. Now, if you would like to take this survey or know someone who would like to take the survey, you can do so by going at canyourelatetv.com. So stay tuned because we have more of the show coming up.
Just ahead, dry skin, headaches, can't lose weight? It may not be the cold weather. We'll tell you about a medical test you need to take. And later, money talks, but are you listening? We'll share some fundamental financial facts for 2011.
For those who struggle with drug and alcohol addiction, finding the courage to change is the first step to lasting recovery. Discover life in recovery. Discover Glen Bay.
Glen Bay, nationally recognized drug and alcohol treatment for adults. Discover more at glenbay.com.
Did you know that January is National Thyroid Awareness Month? We have Dr. Sherry Tenpenny here to talk to us about this. This is one of the most untreated, misdiagnosed, not noticed kinds of conditions. I want to tell everybody, though, you are the owner of the Tenpenny Integrated Medical Center that just opened up in the last month, correct?
Oh, actually, we opened November 1st.
November 1st.
We moved into our new place November 1st. It's beautiful. Everybody should come and see us.
Yes.
And you need to come on down.
I will.
Because it's really nice.
I will.
It's really, really nice.
Going back to thyroid, though, this is undetected a lot, isn't it?
Well, they estimate that there's somewhere between 30 and 40 million people in America who have undertreated thyroid disease. That they have all the symptoms of low thyroid, which is cold all the time, constipation, dry skin, dry hair, inability to lose weight no matter how hard they exercise. And the other thing that people are probably not aware of is that about 20% of people who have a mildly elevated cholesterol, that their cholesterol is maybe 200, 210, 215.
That's mild?
A mildly elevated cholesterol
is
it's that way because they have an undertreated thyroid condition. And once they get their thyroid up to where it should be, that their cholesterol just drops into place and they don't need that medication.
I see. So you're getting some other symptoms that are kind of giving you red flags that, hey, we better look at the thyroid.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Now, how do you detect it? Do you have certain tests that you give? Or?
There's a thyroid test that's been around for a long time. It's called the TSH, and TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. That's the normal blood test that gets drawn by most doctors. But in our clinic, we do a much more thorough evaluation. There are 5 different blood tests that we look at. We look at TSH,
TSH, free T4, free T3, thyroid antibodies. We get an iodine test, and we use this really neat technology that we have. It's called a ThyroFlex. And the ThyroFlex is a piece of equipment that works on a reflex, so that from the time there's a little strap that goes on your hand, and a little strike on your arm here, and from the time of the strike to the fleck of your wrist, it should be less than 150 milliseconds. If it's more than that, it means that you don't have enough thyroid in your cells.
Really?
And before they had blood tests to test you for thyroid conditions, they used to use an Achilles heel reflex, and if that was slow or delayed or sluggish, they would treat you with thyroid medicine until you felt better.
Oh my gosh. So now the blood test, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're just pulling blood once, right? You're doing 5 tests from one blood sample.
From one blood sample.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, you don't have to do it 5 different times.
Sure.
Yeah, but this test, the ThyroFlex, actually tells you what's going on at your cells. The blood test just tells you what's floating around out in your bloodstream.
Okay.
So we use that to really fine-tune our thyroid treatments, and I think about 30% of our practice is thyroid patients.
Wow, 30%?
30%,
and
yeah.
what's going on there? How come we're all having low thyroid?
I think we're having low thyroid from low iodine. We don't eat enough eggs because of cholesterol or cheese, or we don't eat enough fish because of the mercury. So there's foods that you can do to increase your thyroid function.
Okay.
Things like kelp, fish, seafood, things from the ocean. Eggs get a really bad rap because eggs are really much better for you than what people think.
Oh, I buy seaweed.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, now you soak it a little bit, you throw it into a salad
and
or
it doesn't have any flavor.
Right, you put anything on it, it'll taste good.
Right, exactly.
But how much a seaweed would give you? The
whatever
amount
it says on the side of the package is usually the normal amount. But what people don't also realize is that iodine is more important than just for your thyroid. It takes 150 micrograms a day to have a healthy thyroid. It takes 3,000 micrograms a day to have healthy breasts. And when you have low iodine in your breasts, that is an area that can develop into cancer.
Oh, so the big word here is iodine.
The big word here is iodine.
Oh my gosh, as always, you give such good information.
Thanks
Thank you for being here. If you would like to learn more about what Sherry Tenpenny does, you want to go to the website at tenpennyimc.com or give you a call at 440-239-3438. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of Can You Relate?
Next, if your money changed hands too often last year, we can help you change your ways. We'll share tips to make the most of your money in the new year. Then, how much should you allow for an allowance? Coach Kathy adds up the reasons for teaching kids budget basics.
Today's romance review is of Le Petit Triangle Cafe, a wonderfully romantic restaurant in Ohio City. This restaurant seats between 20 to 30 people, and it's built in the shape of a triangle, making it very cozy and very intimate. Whether you'd like to stop in for breakfast and enjoy a warm croissant or stuffed French toast, or prefer to enjoy one of their Le Petit Triangle Cafe signature crepes, you will be charmed by the French-European atmosphere and the food. My husband and I have enjoyed many a meal at Le Petit Triangle Cafe. Maybe we'll see you there.
Craig and Mark Lindell and Grange Insurance know that when you're out there doing what you do, the last thing you want to worry about is sketchy claims coverage from a cut-rate insurance company. When you go with Lindell Insurance and Grange, you're working with companies that use big, bold brushstrokes when it comes to claims and make an art of working out even the smallest details to make everything perfect. Contact Lindell Insurance or visit their website.
Just like any relationship, you want to make sure your relationship with money is the best it can be, especially in 2011. And to help you do that, we have Ken Butsey. Welcome back.
Thank you.
From Integrity First Planners. What have you got for us today?
Okay. Well, 2010 is not over.
Right. Well, yes, it is.
No, we're in 2011, but 2010 is not over.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so here's the scoop. If you haven't funded your IRA for 2010, you may still be eligible to do so, provided you haven't filed your tax return yet.
Okay.
So the rule is basically you have up until April 15th or until your tax filing date okay, but not beyond April 15th. So if you haven't filed your tax return yet and you want to contribute to your IRA, you can still do so as a 2010 contribution.
Do most people contribute early in the year, or do they wait
Absolutely
till the last?
not.
They don't. Okay, I wondered about that.
Well, yes, they do contribute early in the year for the previous year.
Oh, okay.
No, we're very, very busy up until the last day. The problem is, and really why I wanted to bring it up now, is because we'll always get a call somewhere in the middle of April. Hey, I'm going to stop over to the office and drop off a check. Did you file your tax return yet? Oh, yeah, I filed it 3 weeks ago and got my refund.
Oh, that's not going to work.
It doesn't work.
Right.
So you have to do it at the time you file or before you file.
Okay.
Okay.
So now help me understand that there are different kinds of IRAs. So
oh, right.
How does
Well,
that
and
work?
what we're talking about here is in this particular case, there's the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA. And then some people who have small businesses have other kinds of IRAs, and they have different deadlines. The SEP, the simple,
Right.
those kinds of things. The other thing that I wanted to talk about as it pertains to IRAs, and this is a really big problem, and it's going to get a lot worse, is people moving their IRAs from one place to another. Okay, you can do that, but there are two ways to do it. One is called direct rollover, and that means that you're leaving like your company.
Okay.
And you're going somewhere else, so you take the money from your company, and very often they'll just mail you a check. And the rules say you have so many days, 60 days, to get that money into an IRA.
Okay.
Another way that it's commonly done is when the company mails the money directly to the new place that it's going to. Okay. We always prefer money go directly from one bank to another, or from the company directly to where the investments are going to be held, as opposed to them mailing you the money. And here's the problem that comes up.
Okay.
You get mailed this check, okay, because they just mail it to you and they make it payable to Kathy Dawson, $1 million. Okay?
That'd be nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
So they're mailing you $1 million, and now you have 60 days to get it into the account, otherwise it's all taxable.
Oh
okay?
my gosh.
But here's where the people are messing this up a little bit, is you can only do that one time in a 12-month period.
What
Okay?
happens if you do it more than once?
You disqualify the IRA and immediately becomes taxable.
Oh, my
And that's the
gosh.
mistake that people are doing.
Now,
And
wait a minute. How many people, do you all know this? I mean, how many people out there know this stuff?
They find out after the fact.
This is like,
And
I
that's the
hope you're
problem.
writing this down.
That's
Seriously.
the problem. Yeah.
That's
They
amazing.
find out after the fact, and there's really, the IRS has been not very forgiving when people make that kind of mistake, because here's what they're presuming. They're presuming what you're doing is taking a loan from your account, you're borrowing money to go on a vacation or do this, and then you're going to replace it later, and they do not like you using
like that.
those monies for loans.
Which, you know, I can get that. Yeah.
So-
Once again, great information. Always helps me. I'm hoping it's helping you. If you'd like to get a hold of Ken, you can do so by calling him at 216-751-4229 or going to your website at integrityfirstplanners.com. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We have Ask Coach Kathy coming up.
Coming up, your kids keep playing and you keep paying. Kathy helps you teach them to manage their money for keeps. And next week, baby, it's cold outside. We'll share tasty treats to turn up the temperature next week on Can You Relate with Kathy Dawson.
Everybody wins when you decide to donate your ride to Our Lady of the Wayside.
Our
Donate
Lady of the
your ride
Wayside
to
is
Our
so much more than a car donation program. For over 40 years, we've helped thousands of physically and mentally challenged citizens live more comfortable lives within our network of homes. Our services range from assisting with personal care to developing productive personal growth. With your generous support and help, we can reach out to so many more. Y'all can help. Visit wayside.org or stop in to see us today. You can change lives.
This is the Ask Coach Kathy segment where you get to write in questions and I answer them on the air anonymously. This week's question is, Kathy, my husband and I give our kids an allowance each week for chores they do around the house, but they are forever asking us for more money because they seem to spend whatever they make. I wish we could teach them how to budget their allowance, but I don't know how. Do you have any ideas? Well, I don't, but I have a couple here who does. I'd like to introduce Karen and Rod Ott to the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, you have 3 kids, ages 8, 13 and 15. And because of the different ages, I'm guessing you give different kinds of allowances. Is that true?
We do. We do. We sat down and decided that the older two, since they're teenagers, and they want to do and need to do more things with their friends, and so we decided to give them $10 a week.
Okay.
And then our 8-year-old, we decided to give her $5 a week.
And how did they feel about that when you shared that info? Were they okay with that?
All except for the 8-year-old.
Because she wanted to be like the older kid.
She wanted to be like the older
Why
kid.
don't I get $10? But
yeah. So how do you, this is advice that I want you to give the viewer. They feel like an ATM machine.
Right.
I mean, how do you prevent that from happening?
That's exactly how we felt. Our girls love to do, go to the movies and go out to dinner with their friends, and we decided that they needed to be a little more responsible around the house. And so we thought, well, if we have them do a few more chores around the house, and then they would earn this allowance, which we don't call allowance, we call it their entertainment money.
Okay.
So they do their little chores. We have our little chore chart.
Yes, you brought it.
We brought a little example. This isn't our actual one because it's way too neat.
So explain this.
But this is just our chore chart, and it's just basic, things that they need to do every day anyway. Make beds, do dishes, tidy up, and the older two help me sweep and dust. And our youngest, she sets and clears the table. But every day they're accountable to do those things, and then they are checking these off every day.
Okay, and if they do them, then they get their allowance.
If
they get their entertainment money.
If they do everything, they get their $10 or $5
now,
at the end of the
what
week.
happens though is if they get it and it runs out, and they come to you and say, "Oh, I ran out. Can I have some more?" What do you do about that?
There's no advances. There's no...
when it's done, it's done?
There's no extra chores they can do. That's what they get per week, and they have to budget it for something further down the road.
Love it.
And Rod actually had the great idea to use our bank check register. And the girls each have their own register, and they write in their $10 at the beginning of the week, and then it's worked out really neat. And I haven't even had to say anything, but our middle daughter loves to go to the basketball games at school, and it costs $1, but she still writes it in and subtracts her $1, and she's learning the check register, so she's learning that, and
it's holding them accountable for every penny they spend. That way they can't come to us and say, well, somebody took my money, or
right.
Where did all the money go?
Exactly. It's their choice as to whether they use it or not.
Right.
And they know exactly where it goes.
Great life skills early on, so when they become adults and someday have a credit card or don't have a credit card, they can figure out their own budget.
Exactly.
I applaud you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on
Thank
and
you
sharing
for
your
having us.
experience.
Thank you.
It's great. And thank you for tuning in to Can You Relate again this week. I want you to stay tuned for next week because we're going to be talking about photo albums and how photo albums can actually enhance your relationship with the people you love. So stay tuned. We'll be back next week.
Wardrobe provided by Aurora Farms Premium Outlets. Hair and makeup courtesy of John Roberts Salon and Spa. Want to learn more about today's topics, suggest segments, or add your input? You can do all this and more at CanYouRelateTV.com. Can You Relate with Kathy Dawson is presented by CK Media Productions.